Well, thank you, Madam Secretary, and a very warm welcome to New Jersey. We'd like to have you back often, especially when you bring a check. So, but in all seriousness, there's a lot going on here, and we appreciate your leadership at the Department of Energy, which is cutting edge. It is thinking about the department outside of traditional terms, or as you say here, disrupting, and thinking about how that disruption ultimately creates a better life for all of us. So thank you so much for your leadership. I'm thrilled to be with my colleague, Congressman Malinowski, for this important announcement. I know that Commissioner Kowalski is here, so we thank you as well. I don't know if your colleague is here with you. Did he make it, Commissioner Udak? He wasn't able to make it. He's busy. Okay, but I know that you were here. Let me thank Peter and his team for was an exciting, I'm a social scientist. That was what my degree is. But I was excited by the physical sciences that we saw here today and what it means in changing our lives for the better. And so it was a tremendous opportunity to see groundbreaking research performed right here in New Jersey. The history of this location is an extraordinary one. During the course of our tour, we saw, I think, 6 or 7 Nobel Prize winners, the hall, and it is the beginning of so much more that we expect for the future. And it's not unusual for New Jersey because we have a long history. In addition to what has been done here at Nokia Bell Labs, not too far from here, as I told the Secretary, we had the Wizard of Menlo Park, Thomas Edison, and all of over 1,000 patents that he had. So we're known as the Garden State, but we also are driven by invention as well. And that invention keeps us at the curve of innovation and prosperity in the world. Nokia Labs has long been at the forefront of that innovation. It's an example of New Jersey's leadership in science and technology. In fact, researchers from Bell Labs have been awarded 9 Nobel Prizes for their work. Institutions like this are creating the next generation of scientists also, which I'm thrilled to see. I see our young people, Congressman Malinowski brought, which is fantastic. So this is a great day. Get to meet the Secretary of Energy, get to hear what your future is going to evolve with, but hopefully also excites young people through your partnerships with universities such as Rutgers, Stevens Institute of Technology, Princeton, and others to get into this field. Because one of our challenges is finding the human capital, the intellect, to help us drive this innovation as well. The $2.1 million award announced today helps develop new technology, as you heard from the Secretary, to improve energy efficiency, to significantly reduce energy consumption from data centers, which are fueling our increasingly digital world, but also consume extraordinary amounts of energy. The research being done here will help us to keep pace with an ever-increasing demand for more computing power in a more sustainable way as we grapple with the devastating consequences of climate change. Awards like this and the other investments that the Department of Energy are making across the country, including some others here in our state, are pivotal in providing the necessary funding to get cutting-edge projects and technology off the ground. It is this type of federal investment that Congressman Malinowski and I think about that can spur the innovation for the future, and that we are working with private entities in a government and partnership that ultimately unlocks the potential that men and women right here in Nokia Bell Labs have helped to bring to the marketplace and to drive clean energy development. I can tell you as the chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee that the global economy is more competitive and interconnected than ever before. Global demand for clean energy is on the rise as nations and the private sector together act to combat the climate crisis. If we hope to preserve our competitive edge over China, if we want more companies to invest in America, if we want the 21st century to be another American century, then we must build the infrastructure our businesses and our workers need to win. And we must do it by investing in projects like the ones being announced today, projects that support clean energy initiatives, create jobs, and move our nation forward. That's why I worked along with my colleagues in Congress and the Biden administration to pass the largest investment in our nation's infrastructure since Eisenhower was president. The largest investment in our infrastructure since Eisenhower was president. A historic $1.2 trillion Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, which includes $62 billion in clean energy investments. I'm pleased to hear the announcement last month by President Biden and Secretary Granholm that the Energy Department is creating a clean energy corps utilizing that historic funding. This corps will aim to attract 1,000 new workers whose job it will be to focus on climate change and clean energy within the Department of Energy. When you invest in clean energy, you invest in American workers, you create good-paying jobs, you expand access to energy efficiency for American families and small businesses, you build the technology of tomorrow. According to data from the state in 2020, New Jersey's technology cluster accounted for over 184,000 jobs, or 5.8% of all the private sector employment of this state. This is a sector that continues to grow and will help to secure the economic prosperity of our state and the nation for generations to come. When I listened to the tour, the interrelationship between what you are developing in our own state here, Aero Farms that is doing vertical farming, dramatic in an urban setting, dramatically changing the nature of produce to families. Listening to what's happening with our port. We have the megaport of the East Coast, the megaport of Newark and Elizabeth. Over $25 billion of economic activity, several 100,000 jobs related to the port, but the technology and the opportunity to make sure that that is more efficient is incredibly important for it to continue to be so. So I want to thank Secretary Graham for being here today, for her leadership, for her vision, along with the President, and for investing in the preeminent and historic scientific institutions, not only in New Jersey, but across the country. And with